Hello and welcome to the Back to Life Chiropractic Workshop Series. We are talking about stress and anxiety. We've been going through the stress cycle, and now we're going to go through the good news and the bad news of the stress cycle. And so let's get into our PowerPoint, which we've been having a terrible time getting to work. So they changed something where you can't do the application window. So we're going to try this again. We're going to do it a different way. So the bad news about being in the stress cycle is these pathways are fired in the spinal cord and brain. The body becomes more efficient at processing them. That's called neuroplasticity, allowing you to move into stress physiology more quickly and effectively. So, your body, when it's trying to survive, it puts you in the flight-fight mechanism, and then it actually remembers this. If you come across a stressful situation, it puts you back into that survival mode faster. Because that's what your body should do. But the bad thing is if it's a stress that it really isn't something that's getting you out of a flight fight mechanism, stressful situation of survival, like work or something that you're not happy with, then that just keeps getting easier and easier to fire and puts you, makes you get in the stress cycle, and then your adrenals and cortisol, visceral, adipose tissue, all these things start to happen faster. So that's the bad news, is that if you don't resolve your stress, then it can keep getting easier to fire. But the good news is the stress response can be shut off. It can just be shut off by making lifestyle changes, with the chiropractic adjustments, posture, nutrition, neurologic things like breathing and movement. So we'll show you how this proper lifestyle based on the principle Back to Life Chiropractic program, Back to Life system works. But the great thing about this is, the good news is, you can shut this off. So, what happens when you're stressed? So we're going to recap this real fast. So, when you have stress, you get a burst of energy, heightened memory function, burst of increased immunity, and lower sensitivity to pain. So these are all good things because your body's trying to survive, get out of a stressful situation, fight mechanism. Your autonomic nervous system is doing what it's got to do. It's going through this cycle here. Hypothalamus releasing factors, enter pituitary. You're getting ACTH, adrenal cortex, and cortisol. All these organ systems are having to work to get you out of the stressful situation. But the bad thing is, if you don't get out of the stressful situation, it keeps occurring and occurring, then you're going to get impaired cognitive performance. Sometimes it's hard to remember short-term things, suppressed thyroid function. You see this all the time in our society. Blood sugar, blood sugar imbalance, diabetes or hypoglycemia, or you're just starting to get blood sugar problems, decreased bone density, high blood pressure, lowered immunity. And you see this all the time in our society from all the stress that people are in. You see a lot of kids, teenagers in this situation. Increased abdominal fat, visceral adipose tissue. Visceral adipose tissue is a endocrine system that produces estrogen and some clotting factors and inflammation. So those are things over time that cause cancers and all kinds of pain and inflammation. So and then over time we know as we do our exams on people, we use the Insight Subluxation Station here at Back to Life. But one of the tests that we use is this thermograph that does skin temperature, which tells us what's going on with the autonomic nervous system and some stress patterns of your spine. So the good thing is we can see where your autonomic system is having to work hard. So in this example here, reds and blacks are bad, whites are normal. So S1 vertebrae, where these nerves are coming out, the skin temperatures change. C1, C2, the skin temperatures change. So we know that these organ systems are working hard. So remember, these are the two areas that we learned earlier in other workshops, that your parasympathetics are coming out. So your parasympathetics are always trying to balance out your sympathetics, which are all from like here to there, like in your thoracic spine and lower cervical and upper lumbars. And so you can see this person, his parasympathetics are working hard. So then, as a chiropractor, I could adjust that. That would help the parasympathetic kick in, which would help the body relax, which, it's the same as like someone taking, a medicine that's trying to do neurologic, but this is all natural. And then we can make lifestyle changes in order to help, this. And then you can see here's another person who we know that they're subluxated at C1, C2 because of the counter rotation. And then, but we also see that T6, T9, and T12 are, they're in crisis. They're working really hard. Skin temperature is changing, but T6, remember, stomach. T9 is adrenals, and T12 is intestines. We know that. We know what areas are being affected by the stress cycle. So then we know we can adjust these areas, help these organ systems. We could actually use nutrition and some, applied kinesiology. But all these things we could do to start helping these organ systems, and then we would make lifestyle changes. So the good news is, like, we know we can stop the stress cycle. We know we need to, because, if it keeps firing, it just gets easier and easier for it to start all these systems going. And then you're going to burn out your systems, your organ systems and things. And that's where you start getting thyroid, diabetes, all the problems that we talked about earlier. So the good news is we can stop this response. So we'll see you next time. We'll go over more of the test and organ systems.